Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Janusz Lewicki. Today marks the third anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, with events across the world commemorating the victims of Russian war crimes and celebrating the resilience of Ukraine's defenders. World leaders gathered in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, on Monday to attend the international summit on the support of Ukraine, aimed at reaffirming solidarity with the embattled country. The list of attendees for the summit includes European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa, alongside Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and leaders from countries around the world. Some of them joined the event online, including Polish President Andrzej Duda and Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda, who proposed to set the 1st of January 2030 as a reference date for Ukraine's accession to the European Union. In her speech, Ursula von der Leyen unveiled the details of a €3.5 billion package of financial aid and announced that the European Union will continue to supply Ukraine with weapons and ammunition and will increase support for the war-torn country in terms of energy security. Addressing the participants, European Council President Costa emphasized that Russia is a threat to the international rule-based order.
Russia is a threat to the international rules-based order. Putin wants to divide us, and we show here today that our support is strong, united, and unchanged. There will be no credible and successful negotiation, no lasting peace without Ukraine and without the European Union. Only Ukraine can decide when the conditions are met to start a peace negotiation. Peace cannot be a simple ceasefire. It needs to be a durable agreement.
Commemorating the three-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky released a statement on his social media accounts. In a brief video, the Ukrainian leader thanked both the servicemen and civilians for their respective roles in protecting Ukrainian statehood.
3 роки спротиву. Три роки вдячності. Три роки підтримки. 3 роки єдності. 3 роки допомоги. Дякую за те, що 3 роки разом захищаємо нашу державу, наших людей. Дякую за кожен бій, який Україна виграла. Дякую за кожну позицію, яку ми, усі українці, відстояли. Дякую за внесок у спільне майбутнє. Дякую за хоробрість нашим воїнам, ви найкращі у світі. 3 роки повномасштабної війни – це дуже багато, але український народ захистив своє право на незалежність, на власну державу. Дякую всім за підтримку.
3 years after the commencement of Russia's brutal full-scale invasion, the people of Ukraine still have to contend with the shadow of war every single day. Our Kyiv correspondent Oskar has more on the recent plans for peace drawn up by the United States.
Out of the United States, we also have further lines with regards to the potential peace negotiations. The United States Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, in a conversation with CNN, reported that he believed that the Americans were close to reaching some sort of agreement with the Russians, and he said that they would be basing those agreements around the Istanbul communique, those that will remember at the start of the full-scale invasion mentioned, Russian officials and Ukrainian officials did have preliminary talks in Istanbul based on ending the war, but the Ukrainians viewed the Istanbul communique as a surrender document in all but words. It would have left Ukraine demilitarized and without the ability to make its own alliances as a sovereign state. This is something the Ukrainians were not interested in signing 3 years ago. It's unlikely they'd be interested in signing such a document today, 3 years into the war. So if this is the basis for the Russian demands from the United States, and if the United States seems to be going along with this, they're going to find real reluctance here in Kyiv to sit down and negotiate based on these terms, at least for the foreseeable future. It's Oz Chatterjee reporting from Kyiv for TVP World.
The European Union has just waved through its 16th sanction package against Russia. It comes as foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels this morning to discuss Europe's ongoing support for Ukraine. EU correspondent Angela Skujins joins us from the Belgian capital and has more.
The EU just waved through its latest round of sanctions targeting Russia for that country's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. The 16th sanction package was timed to be voted on today to coincide with the third-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of that country. The package includes measures that are targeting individuals and entities that are propping up the Kremlin's war machine. These include restrictions on individuals and businesses employed in aluminium imports, pilot drone operators, vessels operating as part of Russia's murky shadow fleet, as well as media outlets. The EU's top foreign policy boss, Kaja Kallas, said these measures are imperative to hitting Russia where it hurts. Here is what she told reporters this morning before that meeting.
If to look at the messages that come from the United States, then it's clear that the Russian narrative is there very strongly represented.
Other items that will be discussed today at that Foreign Affairs Council meeting include the rollover of EU sanctions against Russia. This requires unanimous support from EU member states, but we've heard more than whispers from Hungary's foreign minister saying that he will vote against the measure. He says that more time is needed for Ukraine and Russia to hammer out their ceasefire negotiations, but we've heard some other more strident comments from European member states, including the Baltic nations. These were comments heard from the Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Tsahkna. Here is what he told reporters this morning.
We need to step up as well. We need to increase the rapid military support to Ukraine, as we have done as well. Estonia has increased by 25% our military support, and our Prime Minister will announce it in Kyiv today. But also we need to seize the Russian frozen assets, 300 billion in Europe, and we need to allow Ukraine continue fighting for its freedom.
Other support measures for Ukraine from the EU will come in the form of a roughly €3.5 billion package from the European Commission. It's expected to be unveiled today by those College of Commissioners that are in Kyiv to mark that sombre anniversary. The foreign ministers will also discuss an emergency council meeting which has been scheduled for March the 6th by European Council President Antonio Costa, who said the need for identifying European defence as well as Ukrainian security is of the utmost importance. A press conference is scheduled for later today where we'll hear more of the formal outcomes from today's Foreign Affairs Council meeting. Angela Skujins from Brussels for TVP World.
Elections in Germany concluded on Sunday, with exit polls predicting a victory for the conservative CDU under Friedrich Merz. The party leader said that, and I quote, "I'm in close contact with many prime ministers, heads of government of the European Union, and it must be an absolute priority to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible, so that step by step Europe achieves independence from the United States." However, the path to forming a coalition remains uncertain. For the latest developments, we go live now to our correspondent Sasha Faber in Berlin. So Sasha, tell us about the latest developments, and also to what extent would you say that this is just a formality for Mr. Merz to take on the role of chancellor? Is there anything that could stand in his way?
Hi there, Jonas. So, I mean, the latest development of the last sort of 20 minutes, I just want to make sort of you aware of this, is the Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance. So one of these smaller parties that, remember that threshold to get into parliament was 5%. Now, their party achieved with the latest count and with pretty much all the constituencies now accounted for about 4.97% of the vote. So she's now gone to the press saying that she is going to challenge this vote because she didn't make it in. She said it's a matter of 13,000 votes. Very much pointing attention to irregularities and complaining about the postal ballot votes, especially from abroad. Now, this is something that has been just released recently. She said this to the press a while ago. But this also has hit other small parties. The FDP also failed to reach parliament. But we'll see what this develops, because one of the ideas here was that these smaller parties might be interesting in some kind of mix of the German parliament. But that's the latest. Now, back to your other question with Mr. Merz. Formality, well, let's see, because, I mean, he has, as you rightly said in the intro there, already reached out, very confident about his position. They're very much in the driving seat here. They do need another coalition partner, at least one. That does seem to be, at this point, the SPD. Now, there are some issues that need to be changed. There have already been talks, apparently, between the two parties. Now, Merz has said we've got to get to work quickly as well. He wants a coalition, a new government to be formed by Easter. So that's important. And also about partnerships. And we got the celebratory mood, and also very much on defense, about looking for playing a stronger role here in Europe, countering the threats of Russia, but also standing up to Donald Trump, also by one of the CDU's heads of the state of Thuringia. Let's just hear what he said, some very interesting points about what could be ahead for the CDU and Germany.
This is too early to tell when it comes to the government policy initiatives, but the belief of the CDU is that when we are working together in Europe closely and when we stand united, then we are much stronger, and we will help our European friends, because we believe, starting from Konrad Adenauer and Helmut Kohl, that this is the right way to go, and specifically our Polish partners will be a crucial ally when it comes to bringing back this European idea.
Now, also what Mr. Merz said recently as well in the last hours is that if he were to be chancellor now, one of the first trips would be to go to Warsaw and to Paris. So seeing very much a very different time of dynamic than we've seen. More to come in the next few weeks as this coalition forms. Jonas, that's the latest here from Berlin. Back to you.
Sasha Faber reporting live from Berlin on the latest results and developments in the German elections. Sasha, thank you very much for joining us. And with this, we conclude this edition of TVP World News. Thank you for watching. I'm Janusz Lewiński. Bye for now.